right, 5 minutes after 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. You're listening to the radio show that probably interviews more authors than any other radio show. I don't care if it's national or local. I think Robin and I speak to more authors than anybody else. And we do this because I think we really have experienced in our own lives the importance of reading, whether it's for entertainment purposes or to learn something. And so we have a book right now we want to talk about. It's called Skyjack. It is a thriller novel. It's written by KJ Howe. KJ is on the phone right now. KJ is the executive director of Thriller Fest, which is the International Thriller Writers Annual Conference. She rode racing camels in Jordan.
That's pretty amazing.
She dove alongside the great white sharks in South Africa. In fact, part of the story takes place, or the kids in this story come from Africa, correct? Mm-hmm. And we're going to learn about what I'm talking about right now. Skyjack. KJ Howe. Good morning, KJ. How are you?
Fantastic. Thanks a lot for having me on today.
Did I hear you tell Robin you're in California?
That is correct, yes. I'm just finishing my book tour here.
Well, thank you for getting up early. Is that home? Is California your home?
Toronto, Canada is actually, and I'm very pleased to be in warm places.
Yeah, but what part of Canada are you from?
Toronto area.
Toronto.
No.
Oh, yeah. I spent some time up there a long time ago. So tell me about Skyjack. And there are two kids, am I right about this, from Africa?
Yes, absolutely. I spent 3 years living in Africa, so it's very special, close to my heart. So I write about Thea Paris, and she's an elite kidnap negotiator. And there are actually 25 to 30 people in the world who do this job in real life. And I wanted to, write about someone that is doing something important in the world, because there's over 40,000 kidnappings a year. And Thea Paris is taking two former child soldiers from Africa to London to their newly adopted family when the plane they're on is hijacked, and the adventure begins from there.
Oh my gosh! And do we stay, as we read the book? Do we stay in the plane or do we stay on the ground? Where are we as the reader?
We go everywhere, which is really fun because I love writing international stories. We are actually in Turkey, in Bosnia, and Hungary, Italy, and Austria.
Wow!
And certainly travel.
And was there anything you needed to do differently with this book than other books you've written?
Absolutely. I'm an intensive researcher. I'm a former medical writer, and that's why part of the reason why Thea Paris has type 1 diabetes. And I really dug deep into the world of planes because I wanted the aviation scenes to be incredibly accurate. And it was really interesting to see the heroic actions of Tammy Jo Schultz just recently with the Southwest situation.
Yes.
And I love seeing strong female protagonists out there, and that's why I created Thea Paris.
Wow. Okay, I love that. And has she appeared in your books earlier? Any earlier books?
Yeah, Thea Paris is my main character, and in The Freedom Broker, which is the first book of the series, it's more of a personal story because Thea watched as her brother was kidnapped when he was 12 and she was 8. And that's the reason she decided to pursue kidnap negotiations, because she never wanted any other families to suffer what she went through.
Oh, wow. Yeah, and you're right. There are kidnappings in the news all the time. I think there was one in the news this morning.
Yeah.
If I remember right.
Yeah, sadly it's growing. It's proliferating because terrorists are using it as a fundraising mechanism. And then displaced military and police in developing countries, they don't have a way to put food on the table for their families. They turn to kidnapping as a way of making money, which is very sad. Yeah,
there was another story this morning. I think it was a couple of guys, 3 people held prisoner in North Korea that Donald Trump is supposedly negotiating to get sent home. I don't know. So tell me about the book. Do you have a website for the book?
I sure do. KJHowe.com is my website.
Okay.
And I have a map on there. You might want to check it out before you take your next vacation because I put all the kidnapping hotspots there, so you know where.
Oh, no.
How about that?
Are there kidnapping hotspots? Wow.
Definitely. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, there's some places in the world that are quite dangerous.
Yeah, is Paris one of them?
Is Paris one of the hotspots?
No, I mean, I would say that's relatively safe. Europe isn't too bad, but you should always be careful and have great situational awareness, right?
You have a lot of students that they will go to Europe on class trips, and then they do have 1 or 2 chaperones with them, but you can't stay with them the whole time. I guess they have free time. So how do you tell the students to protect themselves?
That's a really good question. I do a lot of talks on travel safety because it's really important to me. The best way to handle kidnaps is to avoid them and prevent them. So stay in groups. kidnappers are looking for people that are lonely, like alone and vulnerable. Try to make sure that anytime you get into a car, avoid taxis in foreign countries. If you can, hire a hotel car with a really trusted driver, because quite often the kidnappers in some countries use taxis. Have great situational awareness. When you're walking down the street, stand tall and look and scan and trust your gut. You know best, right? We're kind of built in for survival. So we know when something doesn't feel right, And like I said, don't text or look at a map when you're somewhere different. Look around and be aware of your surroundings.
Even in my hometown, I'm looking down at my phone at a map. I say, where is the deli, Robin? I can't remember. Yeah.
So I have a question for you guys, if you don't mind.
Sure.
If you were going to be kidnapped, what one thing would you like to take with you?
A gun.
I love it. He's taking control. He's negotiating his own way out.
I'm not negotiating.
I think my Bible. Bible would be number one.
Wow. Oh, that's a great question, though.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. If you were to be kidnapped, what one thing would you take? What's your answer to that one?
Well, there is no correct answer, but I believe that, something that gives you hope and keeps your mind active and busy. It's very important if you're a hostage, to stay very, very active in your mind. Some people build dream homes in their head, basically down to the stitching in the pillows to try and keep themselves from, frustration and boredom. And also, sometimes people take photos of their family, because that really creates hope, and I think that's critical to never lose hope. 90% of kidnapped victims do come home safely.
Wow. What is it that got you interested in this topic?
Well, growing up, I lived all around the world. My father worked in telecommunications, and there's sort of like an overarching shadow, always a foreigner in a foreign land. And so I really wanted to dive into that world, because I see kidnapping as a purgatory of sorts. You're alive, but you're not really living, because you're in this frozen bubble.
Yeah. Wow, that is a fascinating thought. Okay. Wow, the book sounds really interesting. The book is called Skyjack. It's written by KJ Howe. I found it on Amazon, and you're doing really well on Amazon, by the way. I don't know if you keep track of your own numbers, but you've got like almost 5-star reviews across the board. This is a big book, too. 407 pages. Wow, look at you. You're a pretty girl.
Well, thank you kindly.
All right,
How when people are traveling with their identification and their passports, sometimes if you're going to a water park or something, you've got to leave it somewhere. How do you know the place you're leaving it is going to be safe?
That's a really good question, because, in a previous book, The Freedom Broker, I learned how to break into a hotel safe, and it is not that hard. I think you really should, if you can, avoid bringing them into the water park, right? I mean, if there's a place you can leave them safely, hidden in the car, let's say, underneath a mat or somewhere different, that people wouldn't look, with a spare tire perhaps. And if you have to bring it in, I guess, lock it, and make sure you hide it as well. Really, something so valuable. I believe, that I'm from Canada, as I mentioned, and I think the black market value for passports is around $50,000.
Oh, my.
So,
wow.
So that's why they're looking to steal those,
Wow.
It's a very hot commodity.
Let me just tell you what I found on Amazon. Your book is currently doing really well, and I have the numbers here from Amazon. Out of millions of books in the international mystery and crime category, you're number 479. That's pretty good. The book just came out like a week ago, right, or 10 days ago?
That's correct. Yes, I'm very grateful. To get the positive reviews. I love writing so much, and I wanted to create something different in a female action hero, but that's someone that's vulnerable as well with the type 1 diabetes. And I was really honored that the American Diabetes Association actually, did a little write-up, because my representation was authentic.
If you ever make this into a movie or a TV show, you could play the lead character. I mean, doesn't she look like an actress? She could, like Honey West or something. Remember Honey West?
Oh, yeah. KJ is more sophisticated than Honey West.
Oh, really? I didn't know Honey West was not sophisticated. All I saw was a pretty lady when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I don't remember sophistication. Well, KJ, thank you so much for being on the air with us today. Good luck with everything. And for the rest of us, I don't have the book, I don't think. Do I, Robin?
No, it has not yet arrived.
So go
We
buy
will make sure it does.
that's okay. Just go buy it, and you will enjoy it. And thank you, KJ. Thank you. Good luck with everything.
It was a real pleasure speaking with you this morning. Have a great day, guys.
Thank you. You too. We'll take a little break. We'll be right back. We have a little update on the incident happening over at Forest High School. We'll be right back.
Howe Pasture Mowing, 352-629-2440. Our tractor services include bush hog, disking, front end loader, box blade, and stump grinding. We also have zero-turn mowers for the smaller paddocks, aisleways, fence rows, and lawn care. Fence rows